Tonight is Tesla of Elul. The foundation of the Temple Tumen was established. The Rebbe used to bring and speak a lot about this day here and there. It doesn't seem like Chai Elul is when the Baal Shem Tov. No, the Rebbe was born. Temple Tumen is a little bit of a inner Chabad Yom Tov when those went through the yeshiva system. Temple Tumen. But nevertheless, today is the day, so we have to speak about it. So the Rebbeim said that we have Pashas Kisaveh. The Rebbe speaks about Kisaveh. A lot of means going into the land. You have to, in order to bring Bikurim, in order to bring the first fruit, it wasn't enough. He took a visit to Eretz Yisrael, that conquered Yisrael, divided, recognized your territory. Every single Jew had to have his territory. You had to really be inside of Eretz Yisrael, completely. All the Jewish people as a whole completely occupied Eretz Yisrael in order to bring Bikurim. And the Rebbe explains what's the connection of Pashas Kisaveh with Chai Elul, which is coming up this Monday, the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov and Alter Rebbe. That a Jew could serve the Eibishter in a way, nicht mir, nicht dir, it's try to keep the Eibishter a safe distance away. We don't want to get him angry, and we want him to be involved when we need him. We don't want him to be, but it's we're not fully involved in Yiddishkeit. We a lot of it might be lip service. We're not in it. Chassidus is in of pnimius. Pnimius means if you're completely one with it, and something which is part of a person himself, doesn't leave room for any obstacles, for anything that negates it. It's completely there. So Chassidus came to reveal by a Jew that he should be completely inside of Yiddishkeit. He should live with it. He should be in it completely. You go to the mikveh. The halach is even if the tiny hair is outside of the water, the tefillah is no good. You have to tevel again. It's a very external part of the body. What difference does it make? But that still, if you're not completely involved in it, there's a big difference between when it comes to certain things. You can only get it if you're completely there. When you're completely there, there's a totally different. It's not another level of quantity, but it's a different quality. The same thing applies with Chassidus in general, serving the Eibush in general, but also with Temchei Tmimim. It's a similar thing. The Rebbeim said that there were certain people that were in Temchei Tmimim for years and years, and they left and they moved on, and they moved on not only physically but spiritually as well. Maybe they remained from Yidden, maybe they became Rabbanim, but the spirit of Lubavitch, of what they absorbed in Temchei Tmimim, faded away as time went on. Then you had certain people that were there for just a day. They happened to Gemara, Bar Beirav, the Chadiyim, someone would travel a few months to go to the yeshiva and a few months to travel back. Was there for one day. But he was there for that one day, and that one day left his mark for the rest of his life. So what's the difference? The difference is like this. The guy that came there and spent a number of years, he was coming to get educated. So he was who he was, and he was taking in, the Lubavitch had to offer, but he never felt that this is his place, there's nothing else in the world. The guy that was there for a day, when he came to Lubavitch, he was living with the belief that he's going to be in Lubavitch. The Frierdiker Rebbe once tried to bring, before he became Rebbe, was in Lubavitch, and he's going to die in Lubavitch. When the Ir Mikla, the city of refuge, Chedesh, also city of refuge, it says that he should run there. The Chachamim say there he should die, there he should be buried, which means when he goes to Ir Mikla, unless the Kohen Gadol passes away, this is it, he's there. He doesn't have any other plans to leave. He can't make any vacations. He's in quarantine. That's it. Gendik. So the Frierdiker Rebbe said that a bacher that's in Temchei Tmimim, the Rebbe said really, just an aside, that Chedesh Elul as well. The Rebbe said it's 1 month a year, but if you spend your mind this month that you're completely involved in Torah, mitzvah, serving the Eibishter, that protects you. You have to be there completely. But anyway, the Frierdiker Rebbe was saying that person. His notion should be that he's in Lubavitch, and he says after 120 years they're going to cover him over with earth from Lubavitch. This is it basically. So even afterwards, when he leaves, he was Kisaveh Elaretz. He went completely, he immersed himself completely in the atmosphere of Temchei Tmimim, the atmosphere of learning Chassidus, of the Rebbeim, the ways of Chassidus, and so on. So even if he went away later on, but he was transformed, whereas other person was there, was educated, he was growing, he was learning, but he always had plans to move out eventually. So he was never completely there, so things were different. So the point is that Pashas Kisaveh teaches us in the month of Elul now also, and coming to Rosh Hashanah and so on, a little bit of Hisayrus, a little bit of awakening that we should be involved in Yiddishkeit, not just what to do, what not to do, but involved emotionally, involved that this should be us, this should be what gets us excited. How do we do that? So we have the Baal Shem Tov, we have the Alter Rebbe, we have Template Tmimim. These were all the Rebbeim established programs, 12 steps, 15 steps, in Beis HaMikdash, a different thing, but Template Tmimim is, you have to, to learn to this. And there were things demanded from the time. Years ago, the term Lubavitcher wasn't a common term. The term was a Tamim. Someone that was a Tamim, someone that learned Lubavitcher, he behaved a certain way. He felt there were certain things that were demanded from him. You have even Hayem Yom, it says that the Tamim has no Chassidus. I think it says 1 hour a day. It's a bit too much for a lot of people, but the idea is you have to, it should mean something to you. You shouldn't leave it on his gun. You should learn Chassidus and try to, don't divorce yourself from the atmosphere of Temchei Tmimim just because it could be 50 years that you're gone from there. Fine, so that's one thing. We also have this week, Parshas Kisav, the second to the last Parsha of the year, and we learn about the Teichecha, right? We have tomorrow's Chumash coming up, all the Psukim, the Brachas, and even higher Brachas that look like curses. And there also we have a pasuk. It says a very astounding pasuk. But why is all this happening? Because he didn't serve the Eibusher b'simcha v'tuv leivav, with joy and gladness of heart mireiv kol. So because of that, because he didn't serve the Eibusher out of joy and gladness of heart, from the abundance of everything, so you'll serve your enemies. It seems a quite drastic statement. Just because you served the Eibusher, yeah, but it wasn't. Weren't so excited about it. So therefore, you should serve the enemies. So there's many different explanations, but the point basically is one simple approach, which we could understand easily according to Chassidus, is that if you don't serve the Eibusher with simcha and with joy of heart, you're not there. So eventually you're going to slip off here and there and so on and so forth until you reach a point you'll serve your enemies or worship the Yetzer Hara. So you have to serve the Eibusher b'simcha v'tuv leivav. It has to be something that makes you happy, makes you enjoy it, you get excited about it. And we have a special Mesinas Krech from Cheder Shalom and the Rebbeim that give us the ability to make this true. We also have, just I think on this year's very apropos, we have twice in the Chumash we have the Teichecha. We have the blessings and the opposite. And we read one before Shavuos, Parshas B'Chukaisa, not the Shabbos right before Shavuos, Shabbos before that. And we have Parshas Kisavai. And why do we read a dafka at the end of the year? It's not the Shabbos right before Rosh Hashanah. We've always read the second Shabbos, second to last Shabbos before Rosh Hashanah. So the Gemara says that we want Tichla Shana Klal Yisad, that the year and all its curses should be over. And the next year should be Tachel Shana B'Chisad. The next year should start with Brachas. So I think in this year it's very apropos that we should hope that this year brought things that at least the Chitzonius don't look like brachas, and it should finish, and we should start a new beginning. The new beginning should be completely full of brachas and good things for everyone from Klal Yisrael, and Avodas Hashem as well. It says every year, the Rebbe says there's a new light that's drawn down every year that never existed, which means we think that years ago, times of the Beis HaMikdash, takes 40 years ago by Tishrei, before Gimel Tammuz, that's when I was able to experience the Tishrei. So from our mind, that's true, but Chassidus said that really, from the Eibusher's perspective, this coming Tishrei was the greatest Tishrei ever. Because every year there's a complete new light that's drawn down that never existed, not in the year of Matan Torah, not in the years of the Beis HaMikdash, not at the greatest times throughout history, we never had such a light. So it means from us, the Baal Shem Tov says, the Gemara says, Tikuv Achayda Shefer, we have to renew ourselves. We a little bit once a year at least to try to reach a little bit deeper and to not just renew what was old, but to try to become. Anyway, and just to finish off, the famous Hayem Yoim, we all know the story of the Mittel Rebbe that he heard someone reading Parshas Kisavei when it was before Bar Mitzvah, and he became so sick that it was a question for fasting Kippur. And someone asked him, but don't you hear every single year the same Torah reading? So he says, usually you heard it from the Alter Rebbe. So the Tata heard Then Tata Lane, Herzach Nish came close. Now, the Rebbe would read the Torah, he says, I don't hear that. So, different ways of understanding this. One approach is that Rebbe, when he read the Torah, so that, like we Chassidus explained, that these curses really hint a very great blessing. That Rebbe read it, he felt the true blessings that are concealed. They say that it was, I think, by one of the Talmidei HaMagid, the Koshens HaMagid, whoever it was, he was laying the Teichon, and someone standing next to me, he said, Eibishter, he said, when will we reach the time that this pasuk will already be fulfilled? I think the guy that was standing near, they said that at that moment, in his mind, he was able to perceive 100 different ways of understanding this pasuk as brachas. It's very great brachas. What Rebbe read was different, but there's another point more in the realm of pshat, in the tata length. When you hear the Torah as being read by a father, you don't hear curses. So the pasuk says that the Eibishter deals with us, kasher yaser ishas pnei, the father rebukes his son. The father rebukes his son, there's a relationship there, so sometimes he says harsh words, but the son is able to perceive that the father loves him. So, we know that there's love over there, but we daven that it should be revealed love. And we should reveal our love to other Yidden as well, and know that they also share the same Father that we have, and the Eibishter should help, and we should have revealed good, and the Eibishter should transform all negative things to the greatest brachas instead of COVID-19. I don't know, definitely Mashiach is much greater than the opposite of COVID-19, but it includes everything, so we should have Mashiach now, everything physically and spiritually.